Welcome, everyone. So glad you're here. Our webinar today is called Vedic Somatic Awareness and Aromatherapy, Regulating the Nervous System and Restoring Emotional Balance. So whether it was the title or the beautiful purple color that drove you here, we're glad to spend the next hour, a little less than that, with you today. If you need closed captioning, you can click CC on your screen and have that available for you. And we are Maharishi International University, and we're an accredited nonprofit university accredited by the Higher Learning Commission. And we will be taking questions from you throughout the webinar. You're very much a part of our conversation. We, of course, have planned topics and planned mini presentation, but along the way, feel free to use both the chat line, which is more for like casual responses and questions. And then you can use the more like formalized structure, the Q&A, if you have like admissions related questions, things like that, where maybe we can take it to the side. So 2 ways to engage with us today. Before we get started on our specific topic, we want to tell you a little bit about Maharishi International University, which has been the home of consciousness-based education. And we're the first to do this. We're pioneering a form of education that prioritizes development of consciousness. And we have 2 kind of ways to approach this understanding. One is our inner awareness, our own consciousness, and we enliven that through twice daily practice of transcendental meditation. It's a very specific technique that allows the attention to settle inward effortlessly to experience source of thought. That source of thought we experience as a field of consciousness, and that enlivens creative intelligence and our full potential. And then another understanding of consciousness is as that underlying field of intelligence that we can tap into when we meditate and enliven more deeper connection with ourself, our own inner source of creativity, but also more deeper connection with our environment. So out of that, we structure degree programs and specific learning environments that teach you specific things about your discipline while also cultivating a culture of wholeness and holistic education. You can see by our website that we really value quality of life. So if you came to our campus, you would be enjoying fresh organic meals. And we do promote yoga, asanas. It's a university culture with heart. So that's a little bit about us. You could always explore the website a little bit more. So some practical points about finances. More than 90% of the university's students receive extensive financial aid. So you can complete your FAFSA at fafsa.gov. You can also use the financial aid calculator that's on the website if you want to get an estimate of the award you would be likely to receive. And from there, we're going to go directly to our panelists. So we would like our panelists to turn on their videos. And first, we're going to be meeting Professor Mahmuda Hotak, who's also the co-program director, or maybe full program director. So she will introduce herself, and it'd be fun to hear a little bit about what brought you into aromatherapy. And the rest of you, you're also welcome to turn on your video. It's nice to see we have alumni joining us. So it'll be very useful later on to find out what they're doing with this knowledge. So go ahead, Professor Mahmuda.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you, Karen. Thank you so much. I will start with welcoming all of you first, and also saying hello to Tracy and Patricia. Thank you for being here with me today. They will be sharing their experience as well. I came to MIU as a student, and I grew through the programs that I joined into. And aromatherapy program was one of the programs that I really fell in love with because its effect is so immediate. And whenever you're working with essential oils and you try to address whether it's a mental aspect or emotional aspect of what you're dealing with, it gives you that immediate relief. And that's what I fell in love with at aromatherapy. And I continued staying with the program. Uh, I was a teacher assistant at first, and then I continued on into the program as I got into the PhD program and, continued my work there. I started teaching some of the classes, and that's where I am now. I teach students specifically how to work with somatic awareness and how to use aromatherapies to support any what I call emotional imprints in our body and become aware of it and release it with aromatherapy. So that's what my focus is in that program.
That's great because some of the first questions are, what is Vedic somatic awareness and healing? So,
You will get a taste of it because we will practice it as I share more about the whole process. We'll go through it. It's more experiential. So even if I try to explain it to you on an intellectual level, it's more how you experience it, how you connect with it. That's where you will see the real effect. We could dive into the topic right now. I have prepared some slides for you guys. I could share that and we go through it quickly and then we'll get to actual practice of it. Just like Karen introduced the topic, so today we're talking about Vedic somatic awareness and aromatherapy. We're going to focus on emotional regulation, nervous system balance, and professional pathway to that. And this is what you'll experience today. You'll understand what somatic awareness is, how aromatherapy affects body and mind, emotional regulation through sense and awareness, guided somatic practice. We'll do that with or without oils. I know we didn't announce that you should bring your favorite essential oil, but we will get to practice that. And then we could talk a little bit about pathways into professional training from there. So the question, what is somatic awareness? So somatic awareness, I would say, it's awareness of internal body sensations. It's tracking breath, tension, temperature, subtle shifts within your body. So you want to connect with your body in a way that you get real-time feedback from your body and you become aware of it. You actually feel that sensation and you're able to sit with it. Now, what is Vedic perspective on the nervous system? Connecting with the body, mind, and consciousness. So, nervous system, we know that whenever we have all experienced stress on one level or another. And through this practice, what we become aware of is where that stress is more felt and the sensation has moment. And a nervous system, we know that we have basically through this practice, we are activating the parasympathetic nervous system, where we bring our nervous system back to a state of rest and calm. And that's what most of the Vedic practices are. Vedic practices always look to bring us back home to our body, to our mind, to a state of being aware of this is not me. I have to reconnect with me and bring us back to that natural order. Now, looking at aromatherapy and context of this Vedic practice that we do, or somatic awareness that we do, it's beyond scent. So we already know, most of you probably do in our program, what we teach is what is aromas themselves. You learn like all the compounds and everything, but that's like the intellectual part of it. What we experience through aromas is that mental and emotional and physical release of what is there as a not, if you would put it in a very simple word, or something that is not being at ease or a state of imbalance. So what aromatherapy does, it allows us to connect with our emotions, connect with the memory of that emotion, and helps us bring it up to a conscious level where we're able to see that is it really something that the body should hold on to or let go? And aromas really help with that. One example that maybe I can give to everybody is like when you are passing by at a bakery, right? You smell like a cookie that brings you back home to a memory of like, you're like, oh, this reminds me when I was a child and I had this cookie. Maybe it was like makes you think of home, makes you think of aromas are the same. They bring you back to that state. And with that state, it could activate so many more memories as we go. Some could be pleasant, some could be unpleasant. And this somatic awareness with aromatherapy actually helps us bring that calm back to our nervous system and bring it back to a state of balance. Now, essential oils, how they affect the brain. Essential oils, when we inhale them, it actually activates the limbic system, which is part of our brain that's related to emotions. And it helps modulate stress response. And like I was speaking before about parasympathetic nervous system, it brings us to a state of rest and digest. And that is part of our autonomic nervous system. So it influences both on the brain level and also on the physical level in our body. So whenever we're inhaling, and this is the method that I mostly recommend, inhalation. Of course, there's other methods that you could use, but we will mostly, what we use it is for inhalation because it does both. It affects the brain and it affects the body. And we immediately feel the release. Why are we combining somatic awareness and aromatherapy? So awareness in general, when we become aware of something, it brings us to a state of noticing what is going on. So that awareness brings us to a state where we notice what is going on with me. What is going on with this thing that is going on with me? Most of the time, that's what we say, right? There's something going on and I need to put my finger on it. So we come to that state. And what aromas do, they help us shift from that state. They facilitate a faster and deeper integration of balance. Now, let's talk a little bit about some emotional states that you most likely experience or you're aware of. These are very personal, and how we use essential oils to actually bring that calm and balance back to the nervous system. Now, there are some oils that bring that value of grounding, and these oils are usually used for feelings of overwhelm, restlessness, or disconnection. And a modern world, we would say anxious feelings. So oils like vetiver, frankincense, cedarwood, they're very grounding. Whenever we have inhaled them, they bring us to a state of becoming slow, grounded, and the nervous system feels that. So it comes down to that state of slowness and the activity slows down. Why? Because they have those molecules, that deep earthy molecules that allows for the nervous system to calm down, to ground down. When we think of stress and irritation, we want to bring calm to our system. Then we always go for oils like lavender, Roman chamomile, bergamot. They have that calming effect and they support activating the parasympathetic nervous system, which is our system of resting and digesting, bringing that calm to our body. And there are some oils that actually help us with emotional opening. There may be some times when we don't know why we are feeling what we're feeling, but we do know that there's some kind of disconnection going on. And these are mostly floral oils like rose, neroli, jasmine, and their effect is directly in the brain, the limbic emotional processing system. That's where things get kind of stuck and we're not able to process and release it so quickly. So what it does, these oils allow for bringing that softness to that guarded state of our limbic system and allow for emotions to release or kind of melt away. Just like when we say we do TM, stress melts away. These oils have the same effect. They allow the limbic system to process some repressed emotions that we cannot notice on the surface level. And then, of course, there are times when we need something uplifting, when we are feeling a little low mood-wise and feel a little fatigued. These are oils like sweet orange, grapefruit, and lemon. They stimulate alertness and mood. Like I said before, most of the time we like to promote inhaling essential oils, and we could do this a few ways. We could put a drop on a tissue and inhale it from that. This is mostly for people who are very sensitive to scents. So when we want to introduce them just to scents. So you want to put a drop on a tissue and inhale it. Put a drop on a cotton ball and inhale it. You could put a drop directly on your hand. And this is after having a lot of experience with the oils, really having established your relationship with the oil. Then you could put it on the palm of your hand and you can rub it and you can inhale it. And diffusers are the best way to use essential oils and for inhalation. But most of the time, if you have no access to any of these, opening a bottle of essential oil and inhaling it directly from a distance, not too close, you could really benefit from its effect in your mind and body. And one of the things that I really do recommend is always go one oil at a time. Don't overwhelm when you're inhaling oils. Don't overwhelm yourself having 3 or 4 different kinds of oils. Just one oil at a time, and then take a good break before inhaling another oil. It's just one sniff is good enough, small amount. And so now if you are ready, and if you could just bring yourself here to like this present moment and just calm yourself down. We don't have to have an essential oil. Let's just practice or get a taste of what somatic awareness is. So if you could just close your eyes and sit comfortably in your space and just bring your awareness to your body. And be with it for a little bit. Where do you feel that imprint? By imprint, I mean a sensation. And feel free to put your hand in that area. And just sit with it. And you bring your attention to it. When we're doing this exercise with aromatherapy, this is when we introduce the aroma. And you will know which aroma to introduce at this point, because not all aromas are for the same sensation. And the sensation usually tells you what it is, so you become aware of just one word definition for it. This is just by you paying attention to it. And just be present with it. And let your attention flow through it. And here you take your time with it. For some of us, this may be minutes. For some of us, it may be more than a few minutes. So you just sit with it. And become aware of any shifts that are occurring. The sensation may move to a different area in your body. Or the sensation may totally melt away. And for some, nothing may happen, and it's okay. We all have different experiences. There is no expectation. That's why we bring our attention to it without any expectations, and we be with it. And this is Vedic somatic awareness. When you're ready, you could just come back by gently opening your eyes. And you will get a chance to share your experience.
Yeah, some wanted a little more guidance on what an imprint would be. I think you used the word sensation. You also mentioned there might not be any sensation, but I'm wondering if you do have any thoughts about how you guide people who might not be as aware of where to start feeling.
Yes, that happens, and that's very normal. If you don't feel anything, it's okay. It's all about experience, and it's all about practicing it over and over. And the whole idea is to go into the practice without any expectation. So when you're going without expectation, you may be more aware of if there is a sensation or not. But if you're going there and looking for something, then you may not find anything because you're looking, your attention is divided. The whole
Mm-mm.
idea is just sit and be and become aware of your own body, and then become aware of, not look, just become aware of in that stillness, become aware of that sensation. And that imprint is basically that sensation. We call it imprints because it has a Vedic psychology aspect to it. But when we are speaking just vocabulary that's more relatable to everyone, it's a sensation.
Then I guess some people are pulling up symptoms of pain. Is that part of the category of sensation? Like, let's say knee pain or,
Yes.
yeah.
So pain, if you feel that sensation, pain,
Mhm.
yes, you will sit with that pain. And if there are specific aromas that you're aware of, that you inhale at that point, it will help with the emotional side of the pain. So it
Mm,
will make it would help with the intensity, for example, and it will help you more accepting that yes, this pain is physically there,
yeah,
and you know I need to take care of it. And of course, there's other aspects of like Ayurvedic aspect comes in there, and that's a whole different topic that we could talk about what pain is from that perspective. So I hope that practice of just being and coming into that awareness somatically in your body, somatic, that's what it means, and increase some introspection and your body moves towards regulation from there. And all this practice not only helps us um, become aware of those sensations in our body, the imprints that we mentioned before, it also helps us become more emotionally resilient or emotionally intelligent, increases our emotional intelligence. And awareness always allows us to do that early detection. And that's what this is all about. Our awareness is the key for everything. And when we're using the aromas, it supports that regulation. And as we practice that, we're actually rewiring the patterns. And that's in the brain and also the physical imprints of it from our body. We are releasing it and repatterning it. So here, um, we all know that holistic health is expanding, and And there is more need for those who, well, actually know natural ways or more of holistic ways. I don't want to just say natural because we're all whole beings. And when we are talking about natural, we really have to look at whole person. And that's what we learn in our program. It is not the symptoms or the disease that you're treating. That's why it's easier for people to say that, how do we apply aromatherapy to cancer? How do we apply it to this disorder? How do we apply it to this imbalance? I cannot tell you that because I have to look at you as who you are as a whole person and really get to the root cause of where this imbalance started and do reverse engineering and bring you back to balance. I'm not saying that aromatherapy will cure cancer, it will cure any imbalance, but I can tell you this, the way we address imbalances always brings that person back to balance. And when that person is in balance, then there is no dis-ease. So this is more, the whole program is more integration of science and traditional knowledge, what we say, wisdom-based knowledge, Maharishi Ayurveda. And this program here, like Karen introduced, the whole university's philosophy. There's science and there's consciousness-based education. You'll have clinical understanding of what you're doing. You'll have practical training. And also there's professional certification on that. And then here's who this path is for. Those of you who have passion for natural healing or balancing or holistic health, you have more interest in mind-body connection. You have a desire to help others regulate and balance yourself as well, because in our program, the focus is more on the students, because in order to become a good practitioner, you need to address your imbalances first. And that's how you could relate to your clients' imbalances, and you can explain it better to them. So there's a lot of self-development and professional development throughout the program, 3 years. And that's the end of my presentation, but I'm happy to answer any specific questions you have regarding the program, regarding aromatherapy, regarding Maharishi Ayurveda, how we integrate it into this aromatherapy practice.
Does your program in general cover more than the emotional regulation? Is it also going into other therapies or modalities that would then support? So some people are asking about cancer or having long COVID symptoms like loss of smell. Is there a part of the overall program that addresses more of those physical?
Of course, the program is holistic aromatherapy. So we teach aromatherapy and we teach all these exercises within the Maharishi Ayurvedic practice. So whenever, just like pain was a very good example here, when we are dealing with aromas to reduce the emotional intensity of pain, really on a mental and emotional level, then we address the pain from Maharishi Ayurvedic perspective. We come up with therapeutic remedies for that, and we apply it and deal with it. It's basically a vata disorder, so we balance vata. That's what Maharishi Ayurveda teaches. Yeah.
Maybe we need to give everybody a little bit of an intro on the Maharishi Ayurveda. Veda is a term that's also something we need to maybe define.
Yeah. So whenever we're talking, Veda is knowledge, Veda is science, and we're talking about Ayurveda, it's the science. Ayur is life and Veda is science. So science of life. It's the most ancient practice or I would say, preventative medicine practice of India. It's something that Maharishi revived in its most uh, natural and practical way to practice for us. And um, it shows how we see the body as not what the symptoms presented. We see the person as this whole person,
Mhm.
and why is this person in a state of imbalance? And what we try to do is we bring that person back to balance, that being back to balance, because
Yes.
that's what it is. So
Mhm.
we are all a specific constitution, and mostly we live with that blueprint throughout life to be in balance. And when we fall out of balance, then we experience all these symptoms
Mhm.
that become part of what we call disease. Dis-ease. That's how we look at it in Maharishi Ayurveda. So what we do is we take the person and we bring the person back to that state of balance.
Mhm.
And we ease the disease. We bring balance to it.
Some people are wondering if this is then sort of a temporary on the spot adjustment with aromatherapy, or if there's like these longer term, deeper um, adjustments that happen with regular use.
Regular use of aromatherapy. So if we look at aromatherapy itself, it is something that is, I don't want to say it temporary, but it's something that cannot be used long term.
Mm.
It's something that will give you immediate relief. It can be used in a therapeutic setting for a specific duration of time. So you cannot use it, you could use it for wellness for your entire life. But on therapeutic level, we have to adjust it to a certain period of time. For
Uh-huh.
example, if I tell you that you to manage stress, daily stresses that we go through. For example, if you're a student and you have the pressure of studying, you have so many classes, you're a full-time student and all that, um, you would want to wake up in the morning. Of course, I would tell you to use specific aromatherapy remedies for alertness, for stress management, and for calmness at night. So it can support you with your sleep. So there will be three different remedies. Now, if we're talking a state of imbalance,
Yes.
this is a place where we really have to focus in and use aromatherapy at a different level. So it's not going to be, I'm not going to tell you, go ahead, inhale this aroma for this much time. No, it's going to be very focused. We're going to do a treatment plan, a recommendation plan. I don't want to use treatment because it's mostly like in medical setting, but we're going to do a recommendation plan that's going to vary from 3 months to 6 months. And we're going to do it at specific times with specific dilutions
Hmm.
and specific methods. So
Hmm.
it'll be a combination of, let's say, you're going to inhale aromas for 10 minutes for a specific imbalance, and it's going to be through a diffuser. And
Got it.
then you're not going to do that all day. And then you may, apply it topically with a carrier oil. So that's how we do it. There's aromatherapy for wellness, and then there's aromatherapy to address the imbalances. And
Hmm.
the approach is very different. And then when it comes to imbalances, then we combine Ayurveda because we really need to address your lifestyle. So aromatherapy combines with Ayurveda, combine with Ayurveda, and it gives you a whole blueprint on how to come back to balance. I hope that makes sense.
Yes, I think that we're getting trying to cover a bunch of questions at
Yeah.
once. I was just trying to combine a few, but I think it'd be good to hear from then Tracy and Patricia. And I think one thing that needs to be addressed is how much prior knowledge did you need for this program? And how did the education on aromatherapy balance against this our whole approach, Ayurveda, Maharishi Ayurveda? And consider that a lot of people gathered here today have never heard these terms before. So maybe Tracy, could you give us a little bit about what it was like to study this knowledge and how you
Sure.
implemented and integrated the
Sure.
pairs? Thank you.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Just to start off, I am from a clinical background in medicine, so I'm a nurse practitioner. And as you know, just being treated by um, physicians, nurse practitioners, medicine is part of that process of prescribing and recommending. And, part of me was like, okay, this is great, but I really want to understand more natural entities. And that's what kind of brought me to this program. I did get it online and saw that there was a program that was for health practitioners, and it was a program that I could start and move into with my background as a master's in as a nurse practitioner in nursing. And so that interested me, and just learning about herbs and natural products that can help physiology. And so that was my interest, and joined the program with that pretense. And I took classes in the master's aromatherapy and Ayurvedic medicine, and moved on to the PhD program. So I'm in my fifth year of taking classes at Maharishi, and I am in the dissertation phase now. And I will be moving forward with a proposal that is based with aromatherapy. And so I've used aromatherapy personally, really very similar to what Mahmoud was talking about, for emotions and moods. When I'm working, maybe in the morning I'm a little low, kind of sluggish, and so I would put in some diffuser with some water with my essential oil, whether it's eucalyptus or rosemary. Some days maybe my mood is a little low, and I would do some citric, like grapefruit or orange and lemon, not all together, but separately. Sometimes I do blend, and I've used some blending techniques for some of my friends who have asked for that. When they ask for that, my favorite is lavender. It helps me sleep. I would blend a lavender essential oil, and maybe with a little bit of eucalyptus for them. So I've used that way personally, and now professionally, I feel like when I continue and complete my program, I would like to get into teaching and teach aromatherapy, maybe for health professionals, to really have everybody understand how aromatherapy can help you mentally and physically.
When you teach professionals in the medical field the benefits and purposes of aromatherapy for mental health, how would you work around the medical path that they might take? So she says, many physicians and doctors have told me they can't promote holistic health, and they've told me it's because it goes against their oath for medicine. So they're curious on your thoughts on communicating,
Yeah.
this.
I truly believe it's already being integrated. I know that there are some essential oils that are available within the hospitals, and there's some programs that are already out there. So I don't think that it's anything that's against an oath. I think that it's just a different perspective, just like the vitamins are, right? And so it's a different look into health, and a kind of like an alternative also view. It's the goal is to continue to have research based, that you can actually understand the science of it. And I think that's why it's important for practitioners to understand the basis of essential oils, because it is a science. We took organic chemistry, we worked through the different what constitutes each essential oil. And once that's understood, you can move that into some research studies and really dig deep. And I think that's when the value comes, when there is research-based, education and research-based studies out there. So hopefully practitioners will, keep an open mind for that, and it is out there for them to learn.
I hope that takes care of that inquiry there.
Yeah. Yeah, and I do work in the hospital with oncology patients in LA. Yes. And I'm on the West Coast, I'm in Phoenix, and I know that happens too. I'm familiar with San Diego, and there's, they give out essential oil packet, and it's an option for the patients to use.
Well, that's good to know. All right. Oh, there's even just a question on Ayurveda. Yes, we had a lot of terminology drops, and honestly, we're just trying to introduce the program, and we're getting you a taste of an online webinar. So we can't, with more than 80 people online, it's a little bit of we have to make sure we can accommodate everybody here. So, but Ayurveda, and we can spell it for you here. It's a Sanskrit term, and it was defined earlier as the science of life. But Veda is science, or you can think of it as knowledge, the capital K. It's like a holistic knowledge. And you're always approaching it by developing consciousness and also teaching all the aspects of holistic, preventative medicine. Okay, so, we're about to wrap up. We just want to give you some practical points. It looks like some people here are already pretty excited about joining the program. And you're welcome to stay on and get a little bit of information. I'm going to just have a couple slides to show you where to go if you're going to apply. And then we'll come back here. And if Professor Mahmuda wants to take a couple extra questions, that's totally fine from our end. Yeah, thank you for that definition. Okay, so just a couple practical steps here for people who are here because they're going to join us. Our next entry is August 2026 for all programs. This is an online one only right now. And that arrow is just showing you that every web page makes it easier. Sorry, that one. Just makes it easy for you to fill out an online application. It's very quick and easy. And this is to highlight that if you go to tm.org, you can find a Transcendental Meditation Center near you. And once you're accepted, you can learn at no additional cost because it's all bundled into your tuition. And it's a very specific type of meditation that develops consciousness. And the founder is Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. So it's the same Maharishi that was known for teaching the Beatles their meditation and all of that. But it's the meditation that everyone's using. And we recommend getting started on it ahead of time. So you start getting this practice incorporated. And it will give you the basis for that somatic awareness technique that Professor Mahmuda was telling you, where you can just be easily with your sensations. So TM will be a good primer for that practice. And then this is just to let you know, we have a physical campus located in Fairfield, Iowa, which is the southeast corner of Iowa. And you're welcome to come here anytime, even as an online student. And we have a lot of support systems in place for meditation and group practice, advanced techniques, and it might just be fun for you to visit us. So on that note, we have these visitor Saturdays. This is about financial aid. It's available for you to apply for. But this is the way to interact with us further. So you could come for a visitor's day, and it looks like the next one is May 2nd, and you would spend a day with us, get a sense of the culture. Even if you're interested in an online program, it might still be useful for you to get a sense of who we are and our origin story. You can also continue to join our interactive webinars. We have about 2 every month. And if you want to check out past webinars, you can follow the QR code here. So that's it from my side. And then if there are just a couple practical points, we have about 5 minutes or so before we should probably let our panelists go. But um, Patricia, I feel like it would be nice to hear from you one more time as well. You think there's anything you'd want to offer for prospective students that might be useful?
Yeah, I dabbled in essential oils a little bit, with the doTERRA thing, through the years and never really understood how powerful these oils really are and why it's so important to dilute them. I learned that when I used oregano oil on the inside of my arm and it burned because I didn't dilute it. So you learn these things. And then you also learn, Tracy was saying, you learn the organic chemistry and compounds behind it and how these oils work with your body physically and emotionally, because it all is a mind, body, spirit connection. Um, I will say just a couple of really, really profound things that happened. We did a somatic exercise with Mamuda where she brought three oils together. And we were thinking of something that, for me, it was a death of a close family member. And I was really, really upset. And she had us walk through these three oils. And it was an instant shift in my sadness, my grief. And I started with lavender and it settled my body. I was still crying. I went to jasmine and spent some time with jasmine and just felt my whole body just really settle. And then I ended with champaka, which is a oil that I was introduced to. I had never heard about it before, but when they introduced it to me and I smelled it, I just cried because I don't even know why. And I ended that exercise with that oil. And from the beginning to the end, I was tears of grief and sadness. And when I ended, it was just tears of joy and life and celebrating her life. And it was instant. I mean, it was so powerful to me. Yeah. It's a neat program.
Are you having like a set of essential oils that you all receive, like a kit, or are you kind of
Yeah, they send us little samples of 150 oils, I think, or there's a lot of oils. It's probably not that many. It's a lot though. It's probably maybe, I don't know, how many is it, Muda? Those little sample kits we get at the beginning. It's a lot.
Yeah,
And
there's 150. We start with
there is
150.
150, yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
and it goes up because we also have a class where we teach students how to blend essential oils, how to
Mm,
create synergies, and that's very personalized.
wow.
That's where um, you could see both aspects of knowledge getting combined. Like we cannot give every person the same aromas. We
Mhm.
have to really know the person and then adjust the aromas and the synergies based on them. So there's a different kit for that. So you get maybe about 50 oils in that kit. So you get a lot of oils to work with and play with. And
Yeah, and Patricia, did you know you were going to be having that particular memory come up before you started, or was it like you were
I had
experimenting?
no idea.
You had no
Yeah,
idea.
it was, I had no idea. She just said pick something, and I picked two things. I picked the loss of my sister-in-law, and I picked a very difficult work transition that I was doing. And, I took those two things and I ended up going towards the grief. And then we went through the program, or the exercise, the somatic exercise, and it was just so profound now. So even when I'm having a high stress situation and things are falling apart in a deal that I'm doing in real estate. Literally, I was losing it. And my girlfriend came and she grabbed one of my hydrosols and she just came and started spraying it all over me. And
Uh-huh.
it just instantly changed my energy. And I just turned around and I smiled and I thanked her and I hugged her. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I can get through this. So it's just really fascinating how it all works. And then when you get down to the scientific part of it, the organic chemistry and the molecules and why and how that associates, with your body through the limbic system or different physiological things that it does to your body, it's just amazing.
Mm. All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. I think that really helped us get a sense of like the inside experience of what it's like when these essential oils kind of open up all these possibilities. I mean, I think some of us might think of it's just something that's on the grocery store and it's kind of more just for recreation, but I think you've really, really brought out to us there's this incredible depth and richness and so much room for possibility for research and helping. Um, and maybe, Mahmuda, maybe if you could just touch a little bit on the job prospects. We always have to kind of do the degree program and, post-degree program outlook here, and then we can close out soon. But
Our graduates, they are level 2 NAHA professional aromatherapists. That's the certification they get. And they can practice as individual aromatherapists on their own, or they could work with other professionals in their offices. So they could find a medical practice where they have an integrative system in their those are becoming very common nowadays. They have an integrative medicine part in their office and they can work with them. But I think most of our graduates, they like to have that individual freedom. So they could practice it on their own and work one-on-one with clients. And that certification allows them for that. And in the program, you learn how to actually establish that practice. And the program is wonderful. Like it teaches you everything. It prepares you to actually go out there and practice. And it also teaches you the legal side of it, the business side of it, and the whole scope of where you stand and how are you different from a medical professional? How do you practice different from a medical professional? How do you practice different from other integrative or alternative health practitioners?
you need any BA basically to get in? Any kind of undergraduate degree is good?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. We prefer somebody who has already had some science background because we do have organic chemistry, like Tracy and Patricia mentioned. We do have anatomy, physiology, and pathophysiology courses. Those are something. So, if they're prepared, we work with some math. So if you have that background, it helps. But we have had students from all different backgrounds come in and succeed in the program very well. So they get a lot of support too.
Yes. Okay, well, we're going to wrap up because, yeah, it's all the time we have for today. But I guess one practical question, some of these folks here are bachelor's students. Can they add this on? I don't think so, right? To undergraduate degree, like a specialization?
And it will be something that you have to enroll in the program. So you have to be a graduate from the bachelor's program and then join this program and complete your master's program. Yeah.
Yes. Good. I'm glad you found this information helpful. All right, that's it from our side, unless any of you want to say anything else that comes to mind. Okay.
Thank you for being here with us, and thank you for doing the short practice of somatic awareness. I hope you take that and carry it and do it throughout your day. Whenever you're having moments of stress, just get back to your body and become aware of where that sensation is and just be with it. and enjoy it, because you all have, it's something you all have access to. And once you get, more familiar with aromas, or you decide to join our program, you will open up a whole doorway of experiencing this beautiful field of aromas and help yourself and help others have a very balanced and well life. So be well. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Okay, I'll share
Thank you.
the.
Thank you, Tracy and Patricia. Thank you so much for being here with me.
Thanks, Mamuna.
Of course.
Okay, we'll just end on this one. Here we go.